Selection Sunday for college football. Bowl announcement coming in, and the Hawkeyes are headed to the Music City Bowl. We'll react to that news on Monday, but we had some breaking news just come in here to From the Hawkeye of the Storm just minutes ago. We're going to get to that in just a second. It is involving the transfer portal, and if you saw the title of the video, you know what it's about. We'll talk about the news breaking about an Iowa quarterback in just one moment. But first, I want to thank Iowa Floor Covering. They've been with us through thick and thin over the last several seasons. Be sure you give them a chance if you've got a DIY flooring project on your hands, or maybe you're working on a tile shower, renovating your bathroom. Check out what they have to offer, iowafloorcovering.com. Use the /DIY for their do-it-yourself flooring. And under the kitchen, Randy's got a bunch of Hawkeye prints, authentic signed and unsigned prints available. Visit him on Facebook or underthekitchen.square.site. So the news that I hoped would never come, as people know here on the show, I have been a big advocate for this young man since he made his way to Iowa. Hawkeye quarterback Marco Lainez is set to enter the transfer portal. Getting confirmation here just moments before recording this video that Lainez could enter the portal as soon as tomorrow, but this news now official. And he will depart from a program that has lost almost every quarterback it's brought in at a high school since, 2021 or even before. I'd have to go back and do the tracing out there. But Marco, by far the most athletic. This dude has got some insane athleticism. His legs are a gift. He's a guy, you look at him on tape and you're thinking, boy, he's maybe playing the wrong position. Maybe he could play running back. But I know he wants to play quarterback, and he's dealt with some injuries, really toughed it out this season, broke his thumb, had been in a cast. We even saw him in that game at Maryland. Jackson Stratton is the starter, and Marco Lainez is warming up with a cast on his left arm, and he would have been the emergency quarterback. But boy, it would have even been hard for him to take snaps given the injury. He toughed it out, shows his character, shows his leadership. But the bottom line is it's a new offense. Marco was recruited by the Brian Ferentz offensive staff. Now that Brian Ferentz is gone, Marco stuck it out through year two, battled with his teammates, but never really got a chance to shine on the field. Now, we're not there at practice every day. I know that some of the message boards and the rumor mill will have you think that he just cannot throw the football, and I'm not here to convince you one way or the other on that. I'm not there at practice every day. I can tell you he put up some pretty impressive high school stats, and I had no doubt that Tim Lester would be able to work with a guy who's got athleticism and ability to run and make guys miss in the open field that was on display last year in the bowl game when Iowa faced off against Tennessee. You remember, Marco came in late in relief of Deacon Hill. Iowa was really struggling in that game, and Marco moved the chains with his legs, and you just kind of hoped he would see this through and Tim Lester would work with him. So the bottom line is it looks like he'll be looking for a new home. And Marco has been nothing but gracious to the media. I've always loved interacting with Marco during media day events, and we had him on the show, I think, a couple of times before he was officially a Hawkeye. Like I said, really high character kid with a lot of athletic upside. It will be interesting to see where he lands. Will he end up at another P4 school? That's possible. Will he end up at a G5 school? Maybe. I doubt he slips below that, just given what he can do with his legs. And I do have a lot of confidence in Tim Lester. The one thing that makes me a little nervous is when I see things like the Tyrone Tracy experiment. Now, that came under Brian Ferentz's leadership, but here's a guy who basically struggled at wide receiver as an upperclassman at Iowa, ended up transferring to Purdue. They play him as a running back, and now he's a starting back in the league. So I just hope that Marco didn't come to Iowa being completely underutilized, and Iowa regrets that looking back because, again, this guy is as mobile and as athletic a quarterback as Iowa had on its roster since Brad Banks. And Marco even told me on a couple of different occasions leading up to his time here that he emulated his game after Brad Banks. He remembers watching Brad Banks when he was growing up. He wasn't a big Hawkeye fan growing up, but he did like the Hawks. He grew up in New Jersey. Great family, by the way, out there in New Jersey. And he watched Brad play and really looked up to his game. And so he'll look to make his mark somewhere else. I'll be rooting big for Marco Lainez. Best of wishes to him and his family. But again, that is the news that I can tell you at this hour, that Iowa quarterback Marco Lainez will be entering the portal. And the official entry into the portal, his papers officially set to be submitted as early as tomorrow. I'm recording this on Sunday, December 8th, just after 6:30 p.m. So I wish I had better news. I know some people that just know everything about the program, even though they've never set foot on the practice field inside the Iowa football facility, will say, good riddance, see you later. But I, for one, am disappointed that Iowa was not able to utilize his athleticism, but perhaps this is for the best for all parties, and he'll go have success somewhere else. And certainly there'll be the critics and those that have been rightfully annoyed by the lack of quarterback development at Iowa, mostly during the Brian Ferentz era. And now we'll see what Tim Lester can do with the group he has and the group he will bring in. Just more of a need for Iowa to go out and get at least one, probably two quarterbacks in the portal, in addition to freshman Jimmy Sullivan, who will be at Iowa next season as well. Appreciate you tuning in, folks. Be sure you share the video out in social media. Hit that like button. It does help. We're here for post-game coverage throughout the men's and women's basketball season, along with football season. And if you have not liked our social media pages, go over to Instagram, go over to Facebook, and follow us. It would be much appreciated. I'm Corey Bratta from the Hawkeye of the Storm. We'll talk to you soon.